the process for getting all of the different channels connected, and I'm just finishing that now. Excuse me. So we'll be starting practice in a few minutes' time. Today's class is all about hip openers, so encouraging us to find some fluidity in our hips and then allowing us to move about our day with more abundance and positivity, especially at the hip joint, because we do a lot of sitting all day. Just finishing, as I said, finishing off this last few screens that I have to connect up on my Apple TV so I can see that everything's working, and pressing go live on that one there. Okay. Right, well, I seem to have some green bars suggesting things are working, so I'm going to scooch over here and arrive on my mat. Now, today's practice, I would recommend having a rolled up blanket or a folded up blanket to sit on, and then also having other props around you. So some blocks here, some bolsters, some pillows. And we'll begin first of all just by centering here, by coming to our seat, whether you want to sit a little more elevated, whether you want to sit in any variation of a cross-leg yogi's choice, and find an erect spine, and then just allow yourself to close down your eyes, and from the fabric of your skin through the contours of your muscles and into the web of your nerves, start to dive into the subtle body. Recognize how parts of your body might feel a little sticky or resistant this morning, or other areas might feel super abundant and flowing with a lot more energy. We'll encourage during our practice to harmonize those aspects, those opposing sentiments, and look for the unity and the harmony that the practice of yoga suggests. So for a few more moments, let's just focus on our breath in our own space, at our own pace. So inhaling through your nose, and if it feels okay with you, you might like to exhale through the nose or open your mouth and sigh it out. We'll give you a few moments to practice on your own. And over these next few moments, let's get creative with the shoulders, just moving the head a little, allowing the body just to wake up, especially if you're like me and it's an early Tuesday morning in Australia, so we're just starting our day. Just rolling the shoulders. And then as you start to blink open your eyes, hold the hands on the knees and start to extend through the spine. So you do that by holding the knees, lifting the chin, opening the throat, looking up. And then with your exhale breath, dome into the upper back, chin to chest and round the back. So just warming up the spine a few moments here. Inhale is an extension. And exhale is that doming, contraction-like expression where we hug in and we allow the spine to create a C shape. So open up the chest, widen the collarbones, lift the chin, and then exhale, breath, chin to chest. Nice work. So today's practice is all about getting into those hips. So let's extend the legs out in front of us. As you do so, you may like to find some props. I like to just place something underneath my knees, just to allow the bend in my knees to feel quite natural. I'm elevated a little bit on my pillows and cushions underneath me, my seat as well. Let's take the hands up and inhale breath overhead, and then with your exhale breath we're folding forward. Now for some of you might land where you hold your ankles, you hold the backs of the calves, you might be able to reach for some of the toes and just allow a gentle level of traction to begin to unfold along the hamstrings and the posterior chain, the buttocks, the glutes, and the backs of the knees and the calves. And that's why I like to suggest we use some props here to help us just alleviate any of that tension, but just starting to wake up the spine, wake up the body, and also hydrate the tissues of the legs. And we'll stay for a couple more moments here, just warming up, welcoming in some nice deep breaths. And it's always the breath. The breath is that tuning into the calmness of the breath, letting the nervous system know that it's okay. We might be doing something that in other circumstances could be cause for alarm, but here we're smoothing out those rigid corners. We are practicing, we are using that tool of the breath to help us just smooth everything out. Nice work. Now, as you bring your hands, slide them along your shins. When you arrive to the knees, bend the knees and start to help slide the feet back towards you. Take any props out from underneath the legs there, and then slowly open the legs out wide so you bring your soles of feet to touch out in front of you. Begin. Good morning there. Hello, everybody on TikTok. You're always so wonderful to me saying hello. Use your thumbs and take them into the soles of your feet. And it sounds a little aggressive, but you just kind of want to get in there and get sort of pressing into all of the fascia, the tissues across the soles of your feet. Because guess what? You're going to walk around the world all day today, and those soles and the feet, they got to do all that supporting. So let's give them a little bit of tender love now. And often you can find what we would call a mama point, this location where if you hold the spot, it sort of energizes the entire chain of muscles and ligaments and tendons and everything up your legs. You can just feel into all of the subtleness of the tissues of the legs. Now, as we hold the feet like a book and we nice and secure them, let's flap our butterfly wings. So just warming up the legs as we begin to work our way into the hip joints. So allow those butterfly wings to flap as fast and high and as quick as you like. And then let's just take a moment just to extend and lift up through the spine. And then let's just fold here for a few breaths. So these classes at the moment are more instructional. They're less yoga style flow, vinyasa, or my kundalini practices. Those will be coming back anytime soon. It's just I wanted to go through a few poses, break down a few things, allowing people just to explore a little bit of an opening in areas of their bodies where we get quite sticky. So shoulders, lower back, and the hips. So as you start to lift your chest again, let's take the hands out to the sides of the knees. Close the knees like a book. And as you do so, just slide your feet slightly forward. Then take the hands underneath the thighs and lean back a little. So just a little bit of toning for the abdominals here. You just are warming up through the front body now. So feel the length as you lean back and support yourself with your hands underneath your thighs. Last few breaths. Now we'll begin to move our way into the hips. So take your right hand down to your right ankle and draw the heel in as though you're about to sit cross-legged, and just leave that leg where it is. Now interlace your fingers behind your left thigh and lean back as you lift the shin parallel with the earth. Point the toes forward and start to draw a circle with the big toe. And that's going to warm up the ankle joint here. So once again, we're moving into all of the areas of our body that are going to support us throughout our day. Reverse the direction of those circles. And then at the knee joint, start to lift and lower the leg. So you're starting to bend at the knee joint, up and down. Very nice. And then with the hands as support around the back of the thigh, start to rotate into the hip joint. It's a deep ball and socket joint, so it really enjoys almost like you're stirring a pot of your favorite porridge or something along those lines. You're moving it around. And then we'll reverse the direction, so come back around. Nice. Now this is an opportunity for you to hug the entire leg in. So it might just be you hold the ankle or you hold the calf. Or for some of you, you can take it quite deeply here by bringing the pinky toe edge of the foot into the right elbow and holding their hands, and then we sort of rock the little baby combination. But that's not for everybody. It's not available to everybody. Nice work. Just a lovely little gentle rock there. And now we're going to place that leg down in front of the opposite leg in our cross leg. Take our hands up and overhead to the ceiling and then drape them forward. Come onto the hands. Press the hands into the earth and dome through the upper back. So you're shifting weight back here. Rather than folding forward, you've got strength in the arms and the shoulders. You can really tune into how there's this shift of weight back towards the buttocks, back towards the sacrum. And we'll stay for another breath. And then next time you breathe in, take the arms up and overhead, and let's twist around to the left. Just get a little bit of rotation through the chest. Use your right hand on left knee and help dial that twist a little deeper around to the left. Nice work. As you come back through your center, take your hands onto the sides of your thighs, lift the legs a little, and then extend the legs out wide. Now take an opportunity here to pedal through the legs and take the hands behind you and lean back. And you're welcome to lean into the bones of the body here. So use the arms, really feel the bones, leaning the chest back behind you. You might even slouch the shoulders a little. It does feel very nice. And then as you start to come forward, take the hands forward and just fold forward as best you can. As you can see, I've been practicing for a long time. I don't pancake my body here. The shape of our hips, the way the bones intersect with each other, the joint, all sorts of things mean we have very different mobilities. So turning up, doing your practice, that is my best advice. Not comparing yourself to one another, because something you can do really, really well, perhaps I can't, and it's always true in the opposite. So we've got to find that harmony, to find that encouragement, to share, and to be kind to one another. Nice work. As we bring the hands back towards ourselves, let's take the hands underneath the thighs again, bend the knees and slide them into center, and then we'll slide the legs out in front of us, and we'll take another fold before we head all the way around to the other side. So inhale up to the ceiling. Now let the heart guide you forward as you fold forward here. And perhaps this time you can hold the hands on the knee and the ankles or the toes, or maybe you can hold the ankles or the calves, whatever works here. And just take a few lovely deep breaths. So one of those areas in our body where we develop such a degree of tension is in the hips, isn't it? A lot of us sit for work all day, get quite stiff. So this is a beautiful little wake-up call for those areas of our body. So as we slide the hands back towards our knees, let's bend the knees like a book, and we'll go back into that little toning of the abdominals. So bringing the hands behind the thighs, leaning back ever so slightly, but getting that angle, toning the abdominals in and up, and taking a moment here just to breathe. Nice work. Both hands around the right thigh this time as you help to bend the left knee in and place that as though we're going into a comfortable cross leg, but we're holding the back of the right thigh now. And if you did the other side, guess what? We've only got two legs, so just switch it up. Everything's going to be okay if you're going to do the other side with me. We're rotating at the big toe, so we're finding that movement in the ankle, and then we return in the opposite direction. Lovely. And then we go up and down at the knee joint, moving into the knee joint. And then we take the hands underneath the thighs, support, and we move around into that big ball and socket joint in the hip. Lovely big rotations, returning in the opposite direction. I'm just looking at my MacBook here, and I can see Instagram is frozen. And honestly, the American programs that they use, they just are so glitchy. And looking right ahead at you there at my TikTok world, and you're always on, always working. I think it's really interesting, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to either be able to hug the whole leg in, which is about your own personal architecture, whether you can do that. If you can't do that, just do something where you pull, drawing the leg in, and you're giving it a lovely big cuddle, and maybe even a little rock of your baby side to side. Nice work. And then we're going to place that leg in front of the opposite leg. So we're coming into our cross leg, and we'll take the hands up and overhead. And remember how we place the hands down in front of us? We want to just sort of press back, right? We use them as support and just rounding into the back body. And do you know what something else is really nice here is how we've changed the cross of our legs as we place this opposite leg in front of the other one. And it's also a nice little reminder of the harmony, right? Because I bet you, just like me, you cross your legs exactly the same and you sit exactly the same. But this morning's practice, we've switched it up. We've gone both sides, and it's always good to do that. Inhale up to sky, hands reach, and we're going to twist around to the right. Left hand's your leverage point. You're rotating, you're twisting, and you're rinsing and cleansing through the spine. And allowing those lovely big deep breaths to come and go. Really nice work. As you come back to center, shift forward onto your tabletop position. So just shift out of the way. I'm going to show you, that's my cushion I was sitting on, or my pillow, I beg your pardon. Well, let's get it right. It's called a blanket, Travis. It's a blanket, and that's what I had there. And I'm going to place my knees on top of that and coming into an all fours position as we head to a pose called Half Pigeon. I'll show you how I love to set it up. If you don't own a bolster at home, then your Half Pigeon will still be okay if you've got a pillow, but a yoga prop like this is super beneficial. So from your all fours position, you step the right foot forward over your bolster or your pillow, and then you start to toe heel the foot across to the left. So see how I'm scooching it over to the left because I stepped my right foot forward. I'm just going to slide my bolster ever so slightly back. And as I start to come forward, I sit down on the bolster. And then I've got this beautiful elevation and support in my pelvis. And particularly, you start to feel it in the very deep tissues in your hip joint. Remember how I said I had a blanket behind me? Well, my knees supported by that blanket behind me. And I'm allowing myself to proud the chest here, look forward, and then I start to walk the hands forward. And in doing so, I'm going to be close enough to my Mac, and I'm going to end this call on my Instagram because it's just not working. And there you go. Thank you very much. There we are. Proud chest, looking forward. In fact, I really like to be elevated here. So Half Pigeon, if you don't have all of these wonderful props like I have, do you have a brick or a block at home that you could use underneath your right hip? Even a lovely big thick book is another opportunity just to elevate the hip. Or a cushion or a pillow scooched underneath that hip. This is not a cheat. This is an excellent way to modify and really be able to target the tissues you're really wishing to stretch. So I am getting a lovely juicy stretch here. It feels fantastic. A lot of people ask me about the alignment of their front shin because they've heard over the years that this shin has to be parallel with the front edge of your mat because apparently that is the perfect alignment or it's required. It's not. You can draw the heel closer towards your groin if you need it because the last place you want to start to feel aggravation and electric sensation is in your knee. We do not want more flexible knee joints per se. We're looking for more stability in the knee joint. So as we proud the chest here and lift up a little, we're going to stay for another breath. So this is a really big breakdown in your Half Pigeon pose. And now if you're like me and you're up on a prop, there's absolutely no elegant way to get back out of this. But by stepping back and out, you come back onto your knees and then you're on your bolster. I'm going to switch around so you can see it from another angle with my block and pillow and bolster. So here we are. My knees are on the blanket, nice and supported. My hands are on the bolster. Slide these blocks out of the way. We'll step the left foot all the way forward. So I've just switched my feet. So I've come forward with my left foot. But if you did the other side, please switch it up. I'm toe heeling the foot over to the right side of my mat. So it's gone across the mat. Now I'm going to just measure up and think, okay, I want that bolster further back towards my groin. And as I come forward now, it starts to find the fleshy tissue underneath that left thigh. So I'm super elevated. There's lots of space. And at the same time, you get a great degree of lengthening across the front of the opposite thigh. And so that is where the magic can happen here. This is Half Pigeon, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, and it is so fundamental in our yoga practice. It's one of those poses well known, but often misunderstood because over the years we've heard very dogmatic cues, and we also have a tendency in our society to want perfection. So we think, oh, well, I've got to look like that person, or I can't use props because then I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I use props every single day in my yoga practice, and I think it's very important to allow the body to find these pathways that help create sensation in your target areas, in the tissues of the body, allowing hydration to flow, allowing the channels to flow, and allowing all of the juicy goodness of our practice to flow through the body. So this has been a couple of moments here. Now, of course, I didn't demonstrate it earlier, but there is always space to fold forward. It's going to intensify that deeper stretch on the outer left hip. So I like to stay elevated, up and away from the earth. And so now we'll be coming back into our tabletop positions, stepping that foot back. How about a little bit of cow and cat here to end our practice together, doming through the back, chin to chest, and looking around for any props you might have and making your way into a comfortable seat. So as I said, these are not yoga classes per se. They're not sort of beginning here and ending here. They're more instructional videos and helping you guide your way through some of the poses that perhaps need a little bit more of an awareness for yourself. So bring your hands into your heart space, draw your chin towards your chest. Thank yourself for showing up today. Thank you for joining me. For those of you on TikTok, I can see a few of you have stuck around, so I hope that this has been informative and instructional and will help you to find some beautiful fluidity in these deep joints we know as our hip joints, where we navigate the world through walking from place to place, finding one another and creating the change that we want to see in the world by moving in the direction of more. And that is a suggestion of moving in the direction of more joy, more happiness, more self-care, and of course the abundance of love, sharing that because it's a renewable resource. Thumbs to your third eye, chin to chest, Loka, Samasta, Sukhi no Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my actions and the actions of yourself help each other to find their own personal freedom. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you feel nice and warm in your hips and you're ready to move about the world with grace, serenity, and enjoyment for a beautiful Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. Oh, gosh. I didn't know that. Okay, there's some news. Good morning, everybody, and have a wonderful day. See you again. Bye.